When you volunteer to serve on your condo or HOA board, you take on significant responsibilities, and one of the most critical is ensuring your community complies with fair housing laws. We're going to talk in this video today about what that means for you as a board member. Think about this. How would you feel if your board's well-intentioned decision led to a discrimination claim? It happens more than you might think, and even unintentional violations can have serious consequences for your community. Let's start with a crucial distinction: the Fair Housing Act and the ADA, or Americans with Disabilities Act. They're different laws with different purposes. Fair housing laws protect people from discrimination in housing transactions, including rentals and sales. They apply to virtually all housing transactions, including privately owned communities like yours. The ADA, on the other hand, focuses on accessibility in places of public accommodation. While your community's publicly accessible spaces may need to comply with ADA requirements, most private residential areas fall under fair housing laws instead. Fair housing protections go well beyond obvious discrimination. Many boards inadvertently create liability through seemingly neutral policies. Whether you're dealing with parking rules, amenity access, or architectural modifications, every decision you make needs to be viewed through the lens of fair housing compliance. Your private community might be independently owned or operated, but fair housing laws still apply to every aspect of the operations. This includes how you word community newsletters, the way you handle reasonable accommodation requests, how you enforce rules and regulations, the processes you use for architectural reviews, the language used in your meeting minutes. Let's take a look at some common situations boards face. Consider a resident requesting an assigned parking space closer to their unit due to a disability, or someone asking to keep an emotional support animal despite your no pets policy. These are fair housing requests, and they require careful consideration. A question boards often ask: who pays for the accommodations? Sometimes it's the resident, sometimes it's the community, and sometimes it's a shared responsibility. The answer depends on various factors, including the type of request and what's considered reasonable. Here's something crucial to understand. While boards can't automatically deny fair housing requests, they're not required to approve every request either. There's a formal process for evaluation, and residents need to provide appropriate documentation to support their requests. But here's where boards often create liability for themselves by either demanding excessive documentation or not requesting enough. There's a balance to strike, and getting it wrong in either direction can create serious problems for your community. The consequences of getting it wrong go beyond legal liability. Your decisions affect real people's lives, their ability to enjoy their homes, feel welcome in their community, and maintain their dignity. That's why understanding fair housing isn't just about legal compliance, it's about good leadership. Lots of boards think they're protected because they treat every resident exactly the same, or because they have a standard policy for handling all requests like this. But fair housing compliance isn't about a one-size-fits-all solution. Each request needs to be evaluated on its own merits. Another misconception is that if the request seems unreasonable or too expensive, you can automatically deny it. The reality is more complex. Even what seems reasonable to the board might be considered reasonable under fair housing laws. Here's a question that keeps board members up at night. If fair housing rules have changed since our property was built, do we need to retrofit our facilities to comply with current standards? This is where many boards get caught in a trap. They assume that being grandfathered in protects them from having to make any changes. The reality is more nuanced. While you might not need to proactively renovate every aspect of your property, you still need to handle accommodation requests based on current fair housing requirements. Here's something most people don't realize. Fair housing laws are constantly evolving through new legislation and court decisions. What was acceptable 5 years ago might create liability today. This is why staying informed is crucial. As a condominium or HOA board member, you need to recognize when you're entering fair housing territory. It's not always obvious. Sometimes simple requests for an exception to a rule can turn into a fair housing issue if not handled properly. Success isn't about avoiding lawsuits. It's about creating a community where residents feel welcome and treated fairly. This requires ongoing attention and awareness, not just crisis management. Fair housing compliance isn't a one-time checklist. It's an ongoing commitment that should inform every decision the board makes. The key is knowing when to seek professional guidance before the situation becomes a problem. If you found this perspective valuable, I invite you to connect with us. For our Instagram viewers, hit follow and feel free to DM us with your questions or community challenges. YouTube viewers, Subscribe to our channel and check out the video description for links to our website, where you'll find our published works on community management, board excellence, and our unique management philosophy. Whether you're dealing with the challenges we discussed today or other community issues, we're here to help. Visit our website to discover our thought leadership content, books, and resources that can transform your community management approach. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.